Hello and welcome to Power Up. Today, is the PS5 really a big deal? How much of an upgrade is it from the PS4? Stay tuned to find out. Hey guys, if this is your first time here and you want to stay up to date with the latest tech news, reviews and comparisons, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss anything. I've put timestamps in the description if there are any parts in particular you want to jump straight to. Today I wanted to look at some of the key specs that makes the PS5 as good as it is. But first, let's take a very quick look at updates and news. Apple have released their very own over-ear headphones called the AirPods Max. I have mixed feelings about it, mainly due to that hefty price tag of $549 or £549 if you're in the UK. The Sony PlayStation 5 that I pre-ordered has been delayed again, which is quite frustrating. In the meantime, I found this on eBay. Yeah, sadly this went for £7,300. Not cool. So, the PS5. Let's take a look at some of the main features, starting with the hard drive. Now bear with me here, I'm not going to get super technical, but this is really worth knowing. The PS5 uses a solid-state hard drive, otherwise known as an SSD. This is a standard laptop 2.5-inch hard drive, which is also the type of hard drive used in a PS4. Anyway, to explain in a very simplified way how a hard drive works, think of an old record player. You know the one that has the spinning LP disc that's read with a needle head? Standard hard drives contain spinning discs that are read by read heads. Data is stored on these discs in magnetic patterns as zeros and ones. But in essence, physical movement is needed where the disk needs to spin to be read. A measurement of hard drive speeds is the read speed. This is how fast information can be read from the hard disks. This is super important, especially when you download and install games from the PlayStation Store and onto your hard disk. So if you imagine the hard disk as an actual disk, data can be stored on different areas of the disk. The outer edges can be read significantly faster than the inner. The PlayStation 4 has an inner read speed of 50 megabytes a second and the outer edges of 100 megabytes a second. So the outer edges can be read twice as fast. Though through a form of data compression, you can fit even more onto this disk. Now because data can be stored all over the hard drive, we also have a measurement called seek time, which is how long it takes for the data you need to be found. So when we take into account the read speed, the compression applied, and the seek times, it could take roughly 20 seconds to load 1 gigabyte of data on the PS4. Now think about your favorite game on the PS4, maybe one with a single player story mode. And now think about how long it takes for that to load. So with 20 seconds to load 1 gigabyte of data, you'll typically be trying to load more than that, and would explain those painful wait times. Okay, so how does this compare to having an SSD on the PS5? Is it really a big deal? Well, let's take a look. So remember that the PS4 can read between 50 and 100 megabytes a second. The PS5 can read around 5 gigabytes a second. That's 5,120 megabytes a second compared to 100. And remember that the PS4 seek time was between 2 and 50 milliseconds. The PS5 seek time is instantaneous. And finally, to compare the load time for the PS4, we had 20 seconds for 1 gigabyte of data. For the PS5, it can load 2 gigabytes of data in a quarter of a second. That's mind-blowing. Because of this incredible increase to the load speeds, different loading methods can be used for the PS5, such as loading the game textures as the character is turning. The turn itself takes time, so while this is being done, the new scenery can be loaded on the fly. By no means am I a pro gamer, but I do like the occasional battle royale of Fortnite on the PS4. A season usually takes around 10 weeks, and during that time, there are several updates. I sometimes find that I download large updates a lot faster than they actually get installed. This is because on standard hard drives, a game file needs to be built before playing. If there is an update, only those new updated parts are downloaded, but then a new game file would need to be built, adding those updated parts in the right place. If it isn't done in this way, the hard drive will have to seek to find those new updated parts whenever it needs them. Now, because the PS5 uses an SSD, this means that there is no seek time, so a game file would not need to be built, resulting in no install times. It will just find whatever it needs from anywhere on the SSD. The PS5 SSD isn't like the standard SSD you would buy for your PC. It has a custom flash controller in the SSD that can help prioritize what needs to be loaded first. The size of the SSD is 825 gigabytes. It, of course, could have been more, but Sony had to balance how much storage space they could give versus the cost. Having a larger SSD could have significantly increased the price of the PS5. You could always add more space by using an external hard drive to store PS4 titles, and the games can then be played straight off of that. The external hard drive isn't recommended for holding PS5 games though. You will also have an option to add other supported SSDs for those of you that really want that extra space. Sony will be confirming the compatibility of the drives, so make sure that you check that out before you purchase one. One thing to be aware of is that Sony's is custom built to work a lot better than any of the others so far. Next, the PS5 received an upgrade in RAM. RAM, or random access memory, is a type of memory that has a specific function. Instead of storing all of the data, like a standard hard drive, RAM only stores data for a short period of time before replacing it with other data. Its purpose is to store only the data that's going to be needed, so the system can quickly dip into the RAM and grab whatever it needs. The RAM doesn't have spinning disks, so it's very quick at finding and loading files. An example of when RAM could be used is having a game load screen in between levels. It could load data into the RAM, such as the graphics files needed for that level. This then makes playing that level a lot smoother because the data is readily available and sitting in the RAM. When you power off the device, everything is then deleted from the RAM as well. The PS4 has 8 gigabytes of RAM. Now with PlayStation 5, this has doubled to 16. You might be asking, why not 32 or 64 gigabytes? Why 16 for the PS5? That's because the PS5 SSDs are lightning fast, so there's no seek times. So unlike the PS4, which has a standard hard drive, there isn't a need to load as much data into the RAM. It can be loaded directly from the SSD. And when the RAM is needed on the PS5, finding the required data to copy over to the RAM is super quick, so 16 gigabytes is more than enough. Finally, let's take a quick look at the graphics. There is a custom AMD GPU in the PS5 that does support ray tracing. Ray tracing is all about the realism of the light in games. This could be from general lighting, moonlight, sunrises, sunsets, reflections of light, how it bounces off objects, and, well, it's all about how the light reacts. Having ray tracing will allow the way the light bounces off objects to change dynamically based on the user's actions. For example, if you were to break a table in a game and all of the contents of the table fly off it, you might have some objects fall, rotate, or spin in certain ways, depending on how you broke that table. But wherever the light source is coming from, those objects will then display the reflection of the light accordingly. Having ray tracing does reduce the frame rate though, so keep that in mind. The PS5 is backwards compatible with the PS4, so you'll still be able to play your PS4 titles on your PS5. There have also been upgrades in the audio, so Sony have not only looked at how to make the audio better through headphones, but they've also tried to give you a more realistic experience from TV audio as well. They've done a lot of research and a lot of testing with the audio. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you want to see more content like this. I do hope to be trying out some games in future videos when it does eventually arrive. But I want to wish you all a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. Stay tuned for more. Peace.